Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News, an Indian perspective on All India Radio. This is Navneet Singh, bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring to you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment, and more. The headlines. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi stresses on role of family in tackling stigma around mental health faced by children. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi arrives in New Delhi on a 3-day visit to be chief guest on 74th Republic Day. President of India Draupadi Murmu to address the nation on Wednesday on the eve of country's Republic Day. Ukraine dismisses several governors and officials amid corruption allegations. Earthquake of magnitude 5.9 struck Nepal this afternoon. Tremors felt in India, including Uttarakhand, Delhi and adjoining areas. Song Natu Natu and 2 documentaries, All That Breathes and The Elephant Whisperers, from India nominated for this year's Oscar. In cricket, India clean sweeps 3-match ODI series against New Zealand. And in Australian Open tennis, Indian duo of Sania Mirza and Rohan Bopanna enters mixed doubles semi-finals in Melbourne. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with 11 children honoured with the National Bravery Award this year at his residence in New Delhi on Tuesday. During the interaction, Mr. Modi presented souvenirs to all the awardees and discussed their achievements on a one-to-one basis, which was followed by interaction with the entire group. Prime Minister Modi engaged in an open-hearted interaction with an informal setting. He suggested the awardees to start solving small problems, gradually build capacity, enhance capability and develop confidence to solve bigger problems as they go ahead in life. Discussing the issue of mental health and problems faced by children, Mr. Modi talked about tackling stigma around the issue. He also highlighted the importance of family in tackling such issues. The children asked him various questions about the challenges they face and sought his guidance on a variety of topics. Several other topics were also taken up by the Prime Minister during the interaction, including the benefits of playing chess, taking up art and culture as a career, research and innovation, and spirituality, among others. During the interaction, Women and Child Development Minister Smriti Irani was also present. The government has been conferring the Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Bal Puraskar to children for their exceptional achievement in 6 categories, namely innovation, social service, scholastic, sports, art and culture, and bravery. Each awardee is given a medal, a cash prize of 1 lakh rupees, and a certificate. President of Egypt Abdel Fattah al-Sisi arrived in New Delhi this evening on a 3-day visit to India. President al-Sisi will be the chief guest on India's 74th Republic Day. President al-Sisi is accompanied by a high-level delegation, including 5 ministers and senior officials. A military contingent from Egyptian Army will also participate in the Republic Day parade function. President of Egypt will be accorded a ceremonial welcome at the Rashtrapati Bhavan on Wednesday. President Draupadi Murmu will host a state banquet in honor of the visiting dignitary in the evening. President Sisi will have a bilateral meeting and delegation-level talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on bilateral, regional and global issues of mutual interest on Wednesday. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will also call on President Sisi. The visiting dignitary will also interact with Indian business community at an event during his visit. India and Egypt are celebrating 75 years of establishment of diplomatic relations this year. Egypt has also been invited as a guest country during India's presidency of G20 in 2022-23. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has extended a warm welcome to President of Egypt Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who reached New Delhi today on a 3-day state visit to India at the invitation of Mr. Modi. This is the President Sisi's second state visit to India. He will be the chief guest on India's 74th Republic Day on Thursday. In a message, Prime Minister Modi said the Egyptian president's visit to India as the chief guest for Republic Day celebrations is a matter of immense happiness for all Indians. Mr. Modi said he looked forward to their mutual discussions on Wednesday. President of India Draupadi Murmu will address the nation tomorrow on the eve of the 74th Republic Day. The address will be broadcast from 7 p.m. Indian time on the entire national network of All India Radio. The event will also be telecast over all channels of Doordarshan in Hindi, followed by the English version. Broadcast of the address in Hindi and English on Doordarshan will be followed by broadcast in regional languages by regional channels of Doordarshan. AIR will broadcast regional language versions from 9:30 p.m. onwards on its respective regional networks. India's President Draupadi Murmu will present the national awards for the year 2022 on the 13th National Voters' Day on Wednesday in New Delhi. The theme of the day for this year is Nothing Like Voting, I Vote for Sure. It is dedicated to voters conveying individuals' feelings and aspirations towards participation in the electoral process through the power of their vote. The Election Commission said the national awards for the best electoral practices will be presented to state and district level officers for their outstanding performance in the conduct of elections during the last year in various spheres. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh reviewed preparations for the forthcoming Aero India show during the Apex Committee meeting in New Delhi on Tuesday. The 14th edition of Asia's largest aero show will be held in Bengaluru between 13th and 17th of next month. During the meeting, Mr. Singh pointed out that the Indian defence industry is going through a transformational phase and the active participation of the private sector is the biggest catalyst to that change. He said Aero India is a medium to provide a platform to all stakeholders to jointly strengthen the defence and aerospace sector and contribute to nation building. The Indian Defence Minister said Aero India 2023 will not just be an event, but a display of the growing prowess of the defence and aerospace sector and the rise of a strong and resilient new India. He exhorted all the stakeholders to ensure foolproof arrangements for the participants during the event. Our correspondent reports that the 5-day event with the theme The Runway to a Billion Opportunities will be the largest ever aero show organized at Air Force Station Yelahanka in an area of around 35,000 square meter. As on date, 731 exhibitors have registered for the event. India's Election Commissioner Anup Chandra Pandey said that technology has opened a new window to protect and support democratic institutions and the electoral process. He, however, said cyber attacks and information influence operations are posing an increasing threat to election infrastructure and perception of electoral integrity. Mr. Pandey was addressing the concluding ceremony of the 2-day international conference on use of technology and election integrity in New Delhi on Wednesday. Our correspondent reports that this was the second conference hosted by the Election Commission of India under the aegis of the Cohort on Elections Integrity, which was established under the Summit for Democracy Year of Action program. Over 40 participants from 16 countries and various international organizations participated in the conference. Besides this, representatives from 8 foreign missions located at New Delhi also participated in the conference. On the last day of the B20 summit at Gandhinagar in Gujarat, the G20 delegates visited Gujarat's unique tourist places and country's maiden financial tech city, Gift City. The delegates participated in the special guided yoga session at Punit One in Gandhinagar on Tuesday morning. The delegates were also given an overview of the world-class infrastructure and facilities at Gift City, including India's first international exchange India Inks and utility tunnel. The G20 representatives also visited and explored famous Step Well at Adalaj near Ahmedabad and learnt about its unique architecture and history. In today's Hotspot section, we bring you a news commentary on India is a new role model of growth through inclusivity.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi outlining his vision of growth through inclusivity through growth, had said the foundation of his government's development policy is Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. The Prime Minister posed the question, is right growth possible without inclusion? Can inclusion be thought of without growth? The Prime Minister observed that the gist of his experiences of more than 20 years as head of government is that without inclusion, real growth is not possible. And without growth, the goal of inclusion too cannot be accomplished. That is why, he added, his government has adopted the way of growth through inclusivity and tried for inclusion of every citizen. Mr. Modi said the speed and scale of inclusion in the last 9 years has been unprecedented in the world. Illustrating these points, the Prime Minister listed measures like providing free gas connections to more than 9.5 crore women, building more than 11 crore toilets for the poor, opening of more than 45 crore Jan Dhan accounts, building and giving ownership of 3 crore houses to the poor. He explained that by ensuring free treatment of up to rupees 5 lakh for 50 crore people under Ayushman Bharat scheme, more than 3.5 crore patients have availed free treatment in the last 4 years. Inclusion, the Prime Minister observed, was focused, but this led to increased demand and much better growth and opportunities as almost 1/3 population of India came in the ambit of quality healthcare. Ayushman Bharat has transformed the healthcare sector in India, he said. Mr. Modi has described the strides in the healthcare infrastructure before 2014. The average in our country was that 50 medical colleges were built in 10 years, whereas in the last 8 years, 209 new medical colleges have been built in India, more than 4 times than before. Furthermore, there has been an increase of 75% in undergraduate medical seats in India in the last 8 years. Now, the number of annual total medical seats has almost doubled in India. The Prime Minister said, through these figures, we can see the impact of an inclusivity scheme on the growth of the sector. Prime Minister Modi has said, through 5 lakh Common Service Centres, Unified Payments Interface, UPI, and PM Swanidhi scheme for street vendors, the ambit of inclusion has been widened. Similarly, aspirational districts in education in mother tongue in National Education Policy, Udaan scheme for making air travel accessible are leading to both inclusion and growth. He also talked of massive inclusion through Har Ghar Jal by providing 6 crore tap water connections. Through the Swamitva scheme, property rights of the most vulnerable sections are being ensured. Already, more than 1 crore property cards have been issued, enabling the beneficiaries to avail finances. Today, India is preparing a roadmap for the coming 25 years, Amrit Kal as we are calling it, with reforms by conviction rather than reforms by compulsion. Earlier, major reforms took place in India only when the earlier governments were left with no other option. The present government considers reforms as a necessary, but there should be a win-win choice in which there is national interest and public interest, the Prime Minister has observed. Prime Minister has on several occasions elaborated his government's approach to reforms, and I quote, "Our policy making is based on the pulse of the people. We listen to more and more people, understand their needs and aspirations. That's why we do not let the policy come under the pressure of populist impulses." Unquote. The Prime Minister's approach of minimum government and maximum governance is yielding great results. The best example of this partnership of private and public sector is in vaccine development for COVID-19. Private players of our country have done a very good job, but behind them stood the full force of the government in the form of a partner in progress. Besides being a partner in progress, the government is standing with full power with the private sector. Now, the extreme models dominated by the private sector or government have become obsolete. The governments at the centre and state are encouraging the private sector as a partner in progress, and we are moving forward in this direction. Well, tourism sector is also expanding in India. The International Yoga Day celebrations at 75 iconic places last year made people aware of many new places of tourism.
This is All India Radio giving you the world news. Ukraine dismissed the governors of 5 battlefield provinces and several other senior officials on Tuesday in the biggest shakeup of its leadership since its conflict with Russia began last year. Among more than a dozen senior Ukrainian officials who were dismissed include the governors of the Kyiv, Sumy, Dnipropetrovsk, Kherson and Zaporizhzhia regions. All 5 regions have been major battlefields over the past year, giving their governors an unusually high national profile. A deputy defense minister, a deputy prosecutor, a deputy head of President Volodymyr Zelensky's office, and 2 deputy ministers responsible for regional development were also among the others who stepped down. Some of the resignations were linked with corruption allegations. Ukraine has a history of graft and shaky governance and is under international pressure to show it can be reliable steward of billions of dollars in Western aid. Mikhailo Podolyak, aide to President Zelensky, in a tweet called the decisions an answer to public calls for justice. United States President Joe Biden has called on Congress to act quickly over the ban on assault weapons as California witnessed 2 mass shootings within 48 hours. According to the statement released by the White House, President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden mourned for the victims who lost their lives in the 2 attacks in California. The U.S. President urged both chambers of Congress to act quickly and deliver the ban on assault weapons and take action to keep American communities, schools, workplaces, and homes safe. The statement came after California witnessed a mass shooting in the Half Moon Bay area. At least 7 people were killed and 1 person critically injured after mass shootings were reported from 2 locations in the Half Moon Bay area in Northern California of United States. This shooting came within 48 hours of Southern California's Monterey Park's mass shooting, which claimed the lives of 10 people. An earthquake of magnitude 5.9 struck Nepal this afternoon, killing 1 person and damaging several houses. Tremors were felt as far as Uttarakhand, New Delhi and adjoining areas. According to the National Earthquake Monitoring and Research Center at Kathmandu, the epicenter of the quake was at Mela of Bajura district. More from our Kathmandu correspondent.
The earthquake in the Bajura district sent a powerful tremor which was also felt in the Kailali and Dhangadi districts. A woman in her 30s from Gomul Rural Municipality 2 was killed when a falling rock hit her while she was cutting grass in the nearby forest. 4 houses in the Bajura district have been damaged. Many old houses' roofs and the Budhi Nanda municipality building have been partially damaged, sending people out of their homes in panic. Shweta Singh for World News, Kathmandu.
In Uttarakhand, strong tremors were felt in some districts, including Dehradun, Bageshwar and Nainital. So far, there is no information about damage to life or property from anywhere in the state. The International Monetary Fund IMF has confirmed India's assurance to restructure Sri Lanka's debt. India continues to be the sole creditor to have backed Sri Lanka's bid for an IMF bailout. Earlier, the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, in his visit to Sri Lanka, had announced India's proactive step. Sri Lanka has been battling its worst ever economic crisis since its independence in 1948. India had extended a generous assistance of $4 billion last year to Sri Lanka to cope with the crisis. And now a report from the business desk.
At the stock markets, the Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange gained 37 points to close at 60,979. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange ended flat at 18,118. Among other global stock markets, most of the Asian markets were closed. In Europe, London's FTSE 100 and Germany's DAX had shed 0.3% each, but France's CAC 40 traded marginally higher in intraday trade. Global crude oil prices were steady today as concerns about a global economic slowdown and expected build-up in US oil inventories were were offset by hopes of a fuel demand recovery from top importer China. So Brent crude futures shed 30 cents to trade at $87.89 a barrel. The US crude futures fell 35 cents to $81.27 a barrel. Back home, gold rose 295 rupees to 57,217 rupees per 10 grams at Delhi's bullion markets today amid positive global cues. But silver declined 63 rupees to 68,779 rupees per kilogram. And at the forex market, the rupee depreciated 33 paise to 81 rupees and 72 paise against the dollar. V. Ravi Kumar for World News All India Radio.
The song Natu Natu from India's blockbuster film RRR and two documentaries from the country, All That Breathes and The Elephant Whisperers, have made it to the final nominations list at the 95th edition of the Academy Awards. Nominations in all 23 categories were announced in a global live stream program today by Hollywood actors Riz Ahmed and Allison Williams from the Academy's Samuel Goldwyn Theatre at Beverly Hills in California. The Academy Awards ceremony will be held on 13th of March at the Dolby Theatres in Los Angeles with American TV host and comedian Jimmy Kimmel as the host. In a historic and jovial moment for Indian cinema, the Natu Natu song from S.S. Rajamouli's period action movie RRR bagged an Oscar nomination in the category of Best Original Song. Earlier, the song won a global Golden Globe Award in the same category. Indian climate change documentary All That Breathes got an Oscar nod in the Best Documentary Feature Film segment. Set in Delhi, the Shaunak Sen directorial follows two siblings who have devoted their lives to rescuing and treating injured birds, especially black kites. All That Breathes is also nominated for a BAFTA award. It previously won the Golden Cinema Grand Jury Prize documentary at this year's Sundance Film Festival, a film gala that promotes independent cinema and filmmakers, and earned the Golden Eye Award for the Best Documentary at the 2022 Cannes Film Festival. Indian documentary short film The Elephant Whisperers has also scored a nomination in the category of Best Documentary Short Film. Directed by Kartiki Gonzalez and produced by Guneet Monga, The Elephant Whisperers depicts an unbreakable bond between two abandoned elephants and their caretakers. However, India's official entry, Cello Show, last film show, Gujarati language coming-of-age drama, did not score a nomination in the Best International Feature category at the 95th Academy Awards. The nominations for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, and Best Actress at the Oscars have always been the center of attraction. The largest and longest book fair of Bangladesh, Amer Khushiye Boy Mela, will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on 1st of February. The historic Amer Khushiye Boy Mela will be organized on the grounds of the Bangla Academy and Suhrawardi Udayan in the capital city Dhaka. Paro Boy Garo Desh, Bangabandhur Bangladesh, meaning Read Book, Build Country, Bangabandhu's Bangladesh is the theme of the fair this year. The book fair started in 1972 to commemorate the sacrifices of people killed by Pakistani forces for demanding Bangla as their mother language for the then East Pakistan on 21st February in 1952. It has been organized every year by the Bangla Academy since 1978. India observed the National Girl Child Day on Tuesday. This day is celebrated on the 24th of January every year with an objective to provide support and opportunities to girls of India. It aims towards promoting awareness about the rights of the girl child and to increase awareness on the importance of girl education and their health and nutrition. India's Women and Child Development Ministry celebrated the day with a special focus on valuing the girl child. This year, the ministry, along with various social media platforms, has decided to make National Girl Child Day a public participation. In this direction, the ministry had asked the states and union territories to organize activities to make awareness about valuing the girl child from 18th to 24th of this month. The highlight of the National Girl Child Day celebration is 5 days of programs or activities by district for dissemination of positive message on value of girl child and rights of the child. In cricket, India have clean swept the 3-match ODI series against New Zealand. The hosts beat the Kiwis by 90 runs in the third and final ODI at Holkar Cricket Stadium in Indore this evening. Chasing a target of 386 runs, New Zealand were all out 295 in 41.2 overs. Earlier put into bat, the hosts scored 385 for 9 in 50 overs. Skipper Rohit Sharma scored his first ODI century in 3 years, making 101 runs off 85 balls. Shubman Gill continued his explosive run, smashing 112 runs in 78 balls. The two put up a belligerent 212-run opening stand. India secured a comprehensive 8-wicket win in the second ODI in Raipur. The hosts also won the first one-dayer by 12 runs in Hyderabad. In Australian Open tennis, 3rd seed Stefanos Tsitsipas and 18th seed Karen Khachanov cruised into men's singles semi-finals in Melbourne on Tuesday. Greek Tsitsipas overpowered unseeded Lehecka 6-3, 7-6, 6-4, while Russian Khachanov cruised past 29 seed Sebastian Korda 7-6, 6-3, 3-0 in the quarterfinals at the Rod Laver Arena. American Korda was forced to retire with a wrist injury during the last 8 encounter. In women's singles, Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina and 24th seed Victoria Azarenka also sailed into the last 4 stage. Indian duo of Sania Mirza and Rohan Bopanna entered the mixed double semi-finals after receiving a walkover in their quarterfinals. The Indian duo was to play against Latvian and Spanish pair of Jelena Ostapenko and David Vega Hernandez, but entered the last 4 automatically after getting a walkover. And now let us take a look at major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. The Washington Post writes, 7 dead in Half Moon Bay as California confronts another mass killing. The Globe and Mail reports, Taiwan expands diplomatic presence in Canada with new Montreal office. The Guardian says UK minister admits 200 asylum-seeking children have gone missing. The Financial Times writes, US touts Biden green subsidies to lure clean tech from Europe. The Japan Times reports Japan faces heavy snowfall amid once-in-a-decade cold snap. South China Morning Post writes, drones could play a key role in PLA's final unification war on Taiwan. The Straits Times reports more than 400 people evacuated from flood-hit Johor village. Le Monde writes, Poland officially asked Germany to send Leopard tanks to Ukraine. A quick look at the headlines once again. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi stresses on the role of family in tackling stigma around mental health faced by children. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi arrives in New Delhi on a 3-day visit to be chief guest on 74th Republic Day. President of India Draupadi Murmu addresses the nation on Wednesday on the eve of country's Republic Day. Ukraine dismisses several governors and officials amid corruption allegations. Earthquake of magnitude 5.9 struck Nepal this afternoon. Tremors felt in India, including Uttarakhand, Delhi and adjoining areas. Song Natu Natu and 2 documentaries, All That Breathes and The Elephant Whisperers from India nominated for this year's Oscar. In cricket, India clean sweeps 3-match ODI series against New Zealand, and in Australian Open tennis, Indian duo of Sania Mirza and Rohan Bopanna enters mixed double semi-finals in Melbourne. And now, before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan, Vaishnav Jan, by artists from Tanzania. And with that, we end this bulletin. We will be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.